first quarter, right, like you did last week. But then you got really hot throwing the ball at the end of the second, beginning of the third. When you miss a throw, like to Godwin or Gronk or whatever, what do you do personally to get yourself kind of back in sync, even though you're not able to be out there?
Yeah, it's tough, because those are important plays earlier in the game because, if you hit them, then you are on the field and it's not only 5 plays and then you get in the rhythm earlier. And I kind of said after the game, you got to be sharp from the moment you take the field. And I think for me, it's about, it always comes back to technique, and I'm always analyzing why something worked or why something didn't work, whether that's a play or throw or, a thought in my head. Sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's physical, and then you just got to try to make the correction. If you feel like it was a very decisive play and you missed the throw, might have to do something with your technique, your mechanics, your timing. If you're kind of in between, it can be a little mental issue where you just couldn't, you just wanted to pull the trigger a little bit quicker, but you didn't get to it. And then you got to try to just play quicker in your head. So it can really be a number of things. And regardless, you got to clean it all up. Nothing is, you got to work hard to make sure that it's an unproductive play is an unproductive play, whether it's a physical error, a mental error, and it could be either or. So, from my standpoint, I want to be decisive. I want to try to eliminate gray area and, go out and play really technically and fundamentally sound so that I can throw the ball as accurately as possible.
All right, we'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Tom, I know that you and Coach Arians had some plans to try to get some golf in during the bye week, but unfortunately with COVID, you weren't able to. I'm just curious to know what it's been like for you in the short time that you've been with Coach Arians. What's it been like getting to know him, not just as a coach, but person to person?
Yeah, I feel like we have a great relationship. From the moment I got here, we've had just great dialogue, and I certainly appreciate, all the insight he gives me and, the way that he coaches and leads. And, it's been a different year for all of us dealing with those type of circumstances where normally you would have opportunities to, get to know each other in a different way. But, say one thing that's tough for all of us around the facility is you don't get one-on-one time with anybody. You don't get any personal time where, you'd be sitting around talking and eating together or, there's no close contact. So, every conversation is just very different than what it's been in the past. So we're making the best of it. It's like I said, it's very open, honest, dialogue about, how we think that we can, certainly how I can be most effective, and any questions he has. We always have a great open lines of communication. So I really enjoyed my time, obviously, getting to know him and have great admiration for him as a coach, as a man, as what he is off the field and how he commands and leads the team.
All right, we'll go over to Greg Allman.
Hey, Tom, obviously you guys have gotten a lot out of Ronald Jones this year. He's dealing with not only the broken pinky, but with being on the COVID list right now as well. I just want to ask you, obviously you have confidence in all of your backs, but just what you do, whether it's Fournette or anyone else, just to make that work on and adjust on Sunday.
I think, first of all, we're all thinking about Ro, and, obviously a tough week for him when you have an injury and then you have something that comes up with COVID. So, he's been so reliable, dependable, consistent for us, even through the offseason, his commitment to making improvements to his game. And I think everyone has a great deal of respect for Ro and what he's brought to the team. For a young player, he's shown a lot of maturity. He's very selfless. And I love being in the back, when he's in the backfield with us, and got a lot of confidence in him. I got a lot of confidence in the other backs. Leonard's played a lot. He's done a lot of great things. Shady's done a great job. Keyshawn's done a great job when he's been in there. So we got a really talented backfield, and we just got to continue to find ways to use them all so that they can all be productive.
All right, we're going to go to Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Tom, you might not see him much on the practice field because he's running scout team for the defense, but Josh Rosen's a guy that was a former first-round pick who's on his third team in 3 years. What's your impressions from him, your interactions, whether it be on the field or in the meeting rooms?
Yeah, again, I think it's not as much interaction as we all probably would have liked or enjoyed, but we have a great quarterback room. Blaine and Griff, it's a lot of conversation about football and some veteran guys, and then Josh, the younger guy, but Josh has a lot of experience too. So it's a strong group. It's a group that works really hard, and we're all trying to be the best we can be for one another. So if I have things that I want to share with those guys, I let them know. They're all very supportive of me over the course of the week. And, Josh has done a great job in his role. Blaine's done a great job. Griff's done a great job. We have a great room.
All right, time for a few more. We'll go to Joey Knight.
Tom, how surprised were you that you got that interference whistle at the end of the first half? It doesn't seem like that's called very often in that situation.
I didn't really see it till after the game, but the way that it played out, it was. Coach made a good point earlier in the week. It was a kind of a Hail Mary type play, and we didn't really get quite all the guys to the spot that where the ball was coming down. We just got one guy, so it was pretty obvious when it was just Gronk, and then the linebacker had his body turned into Gronk and had his hands up, and Gronk really didn't have opportunity to make the play. So you're right, it's not called that often. And in that case, I think we're certainly happy the ref made the call, but we're not expecting to get too many of those. So
All right, we'll go over to James Slater.
Hey, so I'm curious, you talk about how you're always analyzing why something works or doesn't work. And talking to your OC, Byron Leftwich, she said, seeing a guy like you at your position, especially in December, you've been through it all. So the question's twofold. How has your approach to December changed? And when you go through and analyze these things, what do your notebooks or your computer docs look like over these years? And two, have you relished the challenge of all that's come with coming to Tampa, not getting those one-on-one times, but being able to get this team to the playoffs here? We're talking playoffs for the first time since 2007.
Well, I think we're talking about winning one game against the Falcons, so that's kind of where it is for us. And then I think this is our notebook. You think we're building rockets with the amount of information that's in here, just for a bunch of football players. So that all adds up, and all those plays add up, all the schemes add up, and over the course of the year, you get to December. I think the nice part about December is, when you scout an opponent, you feel like you really know them pretty well because they're not putting in a new defense this week. They're going to run what they run. They've been running what they run all year. You got to try to evaluate what the strengths and weaknesses are. I'd say the challenges are earlier in the year. You don't always have a great idea of what they've done in the offseason and so forth. So now they're doing the same thing for us. So they got more knowledge, than they had earlier in the year. So when you play teams late, it's really preparation really takes over. Preparation so you can go out there and play with confidence and execute well. So that's part of what I really enjoy about playing in December. I feel like I can get a pretty good feel for the opponent.
All right, we'll close out with a question from Andrew Cassie.
Hey, Tom, got a non-football question for you. With it being the holidays and whatnot, are there any favorite Christmas traditions or memories there that go on in the Brady household?
Oh man, I'm excited for a new tradition of just being down here and beautiful weather. Doesn't quite feel like it's Christmas time, just because the seasons, they don't change much. So normally up in the Northeast where I've been, you definitely feel, I know it's got a lot of friends send me pictures today of, 12, 16 inches of snow up in the Northeast. So I just wrote back, don't really miss that, don't really miss shoveling out of snow, but it's a little different. And my kids are really looking forward to it. My kids are getting a little bit older. So they're anxious to see if Santa Claus is going to come this year. I told them if they're good, maybe we'll see. So it's been a good year thus far.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great afternoon.